There was a time when we would host our local Westmont Warriors women's basketball team for meals. Warrior chili became my favorite recipe for feeding 14 hungry young women. To make my Warrior chili, you'll need 1.5 pounds of ground meat, 1 medium onion chopped, 3 cloves of garlic, a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of pepper, 1 package of dry chili seasoning, 1 large can of tomatoes, 2 cups of chicken broth or water, pinto beans, 3 corn tortillas, and salsa verde. I'm starting by chopping up my 1 medium onion, which I will then put in my pan with a little bit of oil to start the saute. My onions, and now I'm just rough chopping my 3 cloves of garlic. This will all go into my pan. Our onions are starting to brown nicely, so it's time to add the meat. About a teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of pepper. So our meat is browned with the onions and garlic, and now I'm adding the entire package of dry chili seasonings. I'm using a mild. They come in all sorts of different levels of spiciness, but we like the mild. Stir it all together, and now it's really starting to smell like chili. All right, it's time to start adding some of the other ingredients. One of the nice things about making chili is that I use everything right out of the can. So my crushed tomatoes, a large can of crushed tomatoes, goes right in the pot. Our meat browned for probably about 10 minutes. We stir all of this in. And the next ingredient that I'll be adding is chicken broth. You can use water at this point if you like, but I do like chicken broth. So 2 cups of chicken broth. And I'm going to let this get hot again and come to a slight simmer, and then I'll finish it off with my secret ingredient, which are my 3 tortillas that have been sitting while I've been making this in my blender with some chicken broth to soften and then ground up, and that will serve as a thickener for my chili, as well as adding a nice corn flavor. And it's time to stir it into the hot chili mixture. In Texas, they would never add beans to their chili. Passionate chili lovers love chili cook-offs. The first World Championship was held in 1952, in Texas, of course. It's time to add our last ingredient, which is about a 1/2 cup of green salsa to our delicious chili, which now will just sit on the stove and simmer for about 2 hours. In 1977, chili was proclaimed the state food of Texas. I've just tasted our chili for seasoning, and it's perfect to my taste. Either on the stove top or in a crock pot, it just needs to simmer for about 2 hours or longer. The only thing certain about chili is that its origins do come from Mexico. Whether you're making chili for 14 hungry girls or just for a family of 2, chili is an easy dish and always a family favorite.